This is how a fake Discord tournament invite led to my Microsoft account being hacked, and I lost access almost instantly. The situation started when someone invited me to a Discord server claiming it was for a ranked Bed Wars tournament. At first, nothing seemed unusual about it. The server looked organized and active, with properly named channels, tournament announcements, and users chatting in a way that made it feel like a real community. Because everything appeared normal, I didn't immediately question its legitimacy and decided to join and check it out. After joining, I was informed that I needed to complete a verification step before I could access the server fully or participate in anything related to the tournament. This verification required logging in with my Microsoft account. It was presented as a standard security requirement, similar to what official platforms sometimes use to verify users. Since it looked legitimate and I didn't notice any obvious red flags at the time, I followed the instructions and entered my login details. What made the situation more convincing and harder to question was that I was also in a voice call with the person who later turned out to be the hacker. They were actively speaking to me while I was going through the process, which made it feel more controlled and organized. During the call, they began claiming that they could see my IP address and personal information, including my general location. Whether or not everything they said was fully accurate, it created psychological pressure and made the situation feel more serious than it actually was, which affected my judgment in the moment. Shortly after completing the verification, my account was compromised. I was suddenly logged out without any warning or explanation. When I tried to sign back in, my password no longer worked because it had already been changed without my permission. At that point, I was completely locked out of my account. Not long after, I started receiving security notifications confirming that unauthorized changes had been made. These included new login attempts from unfamiliar locations, changes to account settings, and other activity that I did not perform. Seeing those alerts confirmed that someone else had gained full access and control of my account. Looking back at everything, the most likely cause of the compromise was the fake verification page. It was carefully designed to look like an official Microsoft login screen, using similar layout, branding, and structure to make it appear trustworthy. However, it was actually a phishing page built to collect credentials and give attackers access to accounts. The level of detail in the imitation is what made it convincing enough to succeed. After realizing what had happened, I immediately tried to regain control of my account and began contacting Microsoft support and Xbox support. I reported the situation in detail, including the Discord server, the verification process, and the exact moment I lost access. From there, I started the official recovery process, following every step they provided, including identity verification and account recovery forms. At first, the process felt very slow. There were no immediate updates, and even though I followed everything correctly, I still couldn't get access back. It felt like I was stuck, waiting with no clear timeline for resolution. During that time, I also started looking into similar cases to understand how this type of scam works and whether other people had been able to recover their accounts. I came across a Discord server mentioned by Turtles that focused on helping users deal with compromised accounts, along with discussions and recovery advice from people who experienced similar situations. I also watched a video by No Text to Speech that explained how these Discord-based scams operate and how easily they can trick users when everything appears legitimate. On top of that, I found a Hypixel forum with detailed recovery steps and warnings about phishing methods. I will leave all of these in the description for reference. As I continued the recovery process, I spoke to multiple support agents. Some were helpful and gave clear instructions, but others felt more focused on closing the case rather than fully investigating what happened. That made the process more frustrating, especially while dealing with the stress of being locked out of my account. Even then, I kept following every instruction and provided all requested information whenever I was asked. Eventually, I contacted Xbox support again and requested that my case be escalated. They agreed and pushed it for further review.
After that, I was asked for additional verification details, including my device ID, Feedback Hub ID, and Xbox device ID to confirm ownership and continue the investigation. As of now, I still have no updates regarding my account recovery, and I am waiting for a response. In the meantime, I was given a free Xbox Game Pass by an Xbox agent while my case is still being processed, which allows me to still use some services while I wait. Any activity that happened on the account after it was compromised was not done by me. This situation really shows how convincing phishing scams have become, especially inside gaming communities, where Discord servers and tournament invites are common. It also shows how quickly trust can be exploited when everything appears legitimate, and why it's important to double-check every login page before entering any information. What makes this experience even more important to reflect on is how normal everything felt right until the moment it wasn't. There was no obvious warning sign, no clear indicator that something was wrong, and no immediate reason to suspect anything. That's what made it effective. Even after understanding how it happened, it's clear that these kinds of scams rely heavily on timing, trust, and social pressure rather than technical tricks alone. The human side of it is what makes it dangerous. If someone is put in a similar situation, especially involving verification steps or third-party login pages inside Discord servers, it's easy to assume it's required or safe because it feels connected to the community. But in reality, that moment of trust is exactly what can be used against you.